So we're starting our next unit, which is probability and statistics. So we're going to start with introduction to probability. Lesson 65. So let's look at the do now. If a box of pencils costs $3.95 and the sales tax is 4.5%, what is the total cost of the box of pencils? So we have to make our percent into a decimal, move it 1, 2 times to the left. Remember, we use part equals percent times whole, the percent equation. Our whole is $3.95, and the part is what we're looking for. So x equals 0.045 times $3.95. 0.045 times $3.95. So we'll round that to 18 cents. And then we add it to the original cost. So $4.13 with tax. 2. In the box of pencils, Chris thought there would be 15 pencils, but there were actually 20 pencils. So what is the percent error? So remember, it's the approximate value minus the exact. It's the absolute value of that over the exact. So the approximate was what he thought it was, and the exact is how many were actually in there. So it's 15 minus 20 divided by 20. So 15 minus 20 is -5. And the absolute value of -5 is 5. Divided by 20. So you get 0.25 times 100. You get 25%. So that would be the percent error. So how many sides are there on a die? So when you roll, there are 6 sides on a die, or dice is plural. How many cards are there in a deck of cards? There are 52 cards in a deck. So now we're going to go through what type of cards are in a deck. So we have spades. They're black. And there's 13 of them. Then we have diamonds. They're red. It's 13 of them. Clubs are black. And there's 13 of them. And hearts, they're red. And there's 13 of them. And they're all numbered 2 through 10. Jack, queen, king, ace. So these are your picture cards, and they have numbers 2 through 10. Okay, let's look at some important vocabulary terms. So the first one is experiment. An experiment is an investigation or procedure with varying or different results. So an example would be flipping a coin. Right? You could either have heads or tails. Two different results. Outcome is a possible result from the experiment. So sticking with that example, flipping a coin, an outcome would be heads. Right? If I flipped a quarter and I land on heads, that would be the outcome. Sample space, the set of all possible outcomes. So it'd be heads and tails, right? You can't flip a quarter and get anything besides heads or tails. So give the sample space and number of outcomes for each experiment. So 1, a state that begins with the letter O is chosen. So we have to think, what states start with the letter O? Ohio, Oregon, and Oklahoma. So how many outcomes is that? Just count. 1, 2, 3 number of outcomes. A day of the week is chosen. Well, how many days are there in a week? We have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there's 7 possible outcomes. So probability is a measure of the chance of a specific event occurring. And it's noted as the probability, parentheses of E, which is the event. So it's expressed as a ratio. We talked about that in Unit 1 and 2. Of favorable outcomes to the total number of outcomes. And you could write a ratio, we all know 3 raised to right a ratio, as a fraction, a decimal, or as a percent. The sum of all probabilities in a sample space is equal to 1. And let's look at the complement of an event. Actually, let's just go back to number 1. So we're using the spinner in the game to find each probability. So there's 16 total spaces. So the probability of getting a 9 is only 1 9. So 1 divided by 16 gives us 0.0625. And make that a percent, move it 2 times to the right, 6.25%. B says at least 12. So it's 12 and any number bigger than 12. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 5 out of 16, which is 0.3125, which you make a percent, it's 31.25%. A perfect square, so 1's a perfect square, 4, 9, 16, so it's 4 out of the 16, so it's 1 over 4, which is 0.25 and 25%. Not shaded, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out of 16, which is 0.4375, which is 43.75%. A 2 or an 11. So there's only two choices out of the 16, which simplifies to 1 over 8. And when you divide, you get 0.125, which is 12.5%. And multiples of 5, so 5, 10, 15. So there's 3 out of 16, which is 0.1875, which is 18.75%. So the complement of an event is the probability of the event not occurring. Since the sum of all probabilities in a sample space is 1, the probability of an event not occurring is 1 minus the probability of the events. So A, if the probability that it will rain tomorrow is 3 out of 8, what is the probability it will not rain? So I take 1 minus the probability it will rain, it's 3 out of 8, and you get 5 out of 8. So that's probability it will not rain. If the probability that someone will win a game at a carnival is 1 out of 24, what is the probability they will not win? So 1 minus 1 over 24, you get 23 over 24. A number from 1 to 20 is chosen at random. What is the probability the number is not prime? So not prime are numbers that have multiples other than 1 and itself. So 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 18, and 20. Those numbers are not prime. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it would be 11 out of 20 are not prime. If a state is chosen at random, what is the probability it does not begin with the letter M? So what states begin with the letter M? So we have Montana, Michigan, Mississippi, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Missouri. I think that's it. 1, 2, 3. So it'd be 1 minus 8 over 50, which would give us 42 out of 50. And simplify that, 21 out of 25.